No, Jimmy and I have not spoken about 5 years, and that's been very public. You had one of the reasons why Jimmy and I don't speak on your show, Vince Russo and I. I had a
Mm.
falling out with Jimmy's shitbag of a co-host, and I won't even mention his name, but I only did 2 shows with him when he wanted me to bring the bowling alley to his so-called network. So I did 2 shows with him, and then my kids ratted him out on a bunch of lies that they knew he had told. He was lying about where he lived, lying about his credentials, lying about jobs he had, lying about being executives with certain companies, lying about his home, just lie after lie. Well, my son and daughter-in-law work for an attorney's office, and they dug up a lot of shit on him. So when they did the show and he started trying to big dog on the show, acting like he was fucking somebody and that it was his show, not mine, they called him out and buried him on the shit. So he called Cornette, bitching that the Bolin kids can't be on the show anymore. I said, well, what's the name of the show, Jimmy? It's called the Bolin Alley. It's not the Cornette Alley. It's not the Last Alley. It's none of those. It's the Bolin Alley. They're Bolins. I'm a Bolin. It's my fucking show. He'll do what the fuck. They'll do what the fuck I want. So fuck him. He said, well, he says he don't want him on no more, and I agree with him. I said, well, fuck both of you. I said, so I'm fine. We've done 2 shows. Well, he says that the kids are killing the ratings. I said, what fucking ratings? I've done 2 shows. I am bringing another avenue, another source for people to be able to watch. There are no fucking ratings, and anything we are getting is in addition to what you were getting. Because Russo's network tried the same thing with me. They were bitching to Russo because I was the only non-Republican supporter on the entire network. And I'd go on there and I'd badmouth Trump, badmouth Republicans in general, just basically telling the truth, which is the last fucking thing they ever want to hear. And so they all wanted to get rid of me on the Russo network. This is after I'd left Cornette's network. And then Russo contacted them after 30 days and said, guys, you're idiots. They said, our ratings have gone up 27%. I'll never forget the quote. The ratings have gone up 27% since we got Bolin on the show. He ain't hurting no ratings. He's boosted them by 27%. He's the only thing different in those last 30 days. We got all these fucking shows. None of them are getting any numbers other than mine, meaning Russo. Everyone else was just fucking dead weight. And when I came on, mine and Russo's numbers went through the roof. So getting rid of me was out of the question. But eventually I got tired of dealing with some of these shit bags. And I just told Russo it's just best I move on. I said, it's good controversy. It's good for that. But your guys take this shit real seriously. They don't handle criticism well. And I can out-talk any of these motherfuckers. So you just deal with these people. And I don't think I'm meant to have co-hosts. So eventually I did give some other people a try. I've gotten rid of every single co-host I've ever had. They all take it real bad. They all become trollers. I'm sure we'll probably see some of them in here tonight before it's over with. Yes, Mr. Cocktail, Starmaker Bolin on a Saturday at 12 noon. Thank these Aussies for that and this New Yorker that I thought was Aussie when I saw his name. Yeah, that's but no, Jimmy and I have not spoken 5 years. There's more to the story, but I've told it 100 times on other shows.
No.
Yeah, no,
That's
no,
wild.
and but first, when you started to get in back, as you were saying earlier, as you corrected me, was Jimmy sort of helped segue getting you into the business, or was it something like you guys both got into it by yourself?
Well, he was supposed to help me get into the business when Jerry Jarrett hired him, but I later learned Jimmy never even really mentioned my name to Jerry Jarrett about me having any interest in getting into the business. Bill Dundee told me the same thing. Jerry Lawler told me the same thing. We had no idea you ever wanted to be in the business or that you had any skills to bring because we didn't know anything about you. And Jimmy didn't like competition too well. Jimmy was always very competitive with Jimmy Hart, and he was jealous of Jimmy Hart's relationship with Jerry Lawler because Jerry Lawler, and then this is Cornette's version of it, Jerry Lawler and Jimmy Hart always got the A shows. Bill Dundee and Jim Cornette always got the B shows. And needless to say, the B towns were not as good as the A towns. And then eventually they got sent down, I think, to Atlanta for a little while to where Cornette and Dundee went down there. And Dundee was mainly the booker, I think. And then I know Dundee and Cornette were in Louisiana for a while. And I did a podcast with Bill Dundee about a year or two ago. And plus I had him on my show maybe a year ago. And he says, I'll tell you what, man, he said, if Jimmy Cornette was trying to get you into business, he sure as fuck never mentioned you to me. Kenny, why didn't you come to me? I'd have got you into business. I said, well, I was dear friends with Jerry Lawler. I was dear friends with Jimmy Cornette. Jimmy was my best friend from age 15 till, now 5 years ago. I said, I didn't think I needed your help, Bill. I said, those were my friends. I figured Jimmy told me he was going to pave the way. He was going to open the door and get me in. If he says anything otherwise, he's a fucking liar. And he told me that in a phone booth, which I've told that story on the Great Debate. And that's why the Great Debate was so good, because a lot of the shit that happened in the Great Debate was a shoot when it come to what Jimmy said he was going to do and what he actually did. But we've always used shoots to be so entertaining on Jimmy's podcast. When I'd called him out for the hot tub shit, when I called him out for being a womanizer, when I said you're more like Donald Trump than Donald Trump is. Well, it made good controversy for the show, but a lot of the shit was true. And now that people have gone back, oh my God, all that shit Bolin said ended up being true. And that's what made the podcast good. And Jimmy didn't care because he didn't think anybody would believe me because it's Jimmy's show. So Jimmy was always the baby face on his show, and they hated me on Cornette's network when I first got there. I would say 60%, maybe 70% of those people never wanted me on that show again. And then after 4 or 5 shows and they got accustomed to what we were doing, now all of a sudden, and then it got to the point I was their most popular guest. I outrated everybody over there except for Stone Cold Steve Austin. And from what I'm told, that still stands to this day. But once they figured out that me and Jimmy were a fucking comedy team, and understood what we were doing. And then there's some people still to this day, I can't believe Bolin kicked his fucking mother out, man, so he could move a wrestler. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. How fucking stupid do you have to be? And to think that me and Jimmy really hated each other, but yet he had me on his show about every week or every month or whatever the situation was. He suspended me for about 4 months once because I had Russo on my show and it pissed him off. And when he brought me back on, he said, well, we had to get rid of Bolin for a while. He hangs out with bad people. I said, well, all right. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
But that's the thing. It's funny because it's like, if in life, I think you see this a lot. Like if you have a friend with someone and they have beef with one individual, automatically that friend expects you to have that beef with that person. And
exactly. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I even had to tell him once, and I probably even told him on his own show, if I hated everybody you hated, I wouldn't have a fucking friend in the world. And my son has apologized to me a million times. He says, Dad, I feel like I broke up your relationship with Jimmy. I said, no, I said it needed to be broken up if he can't fucking grow up and realize we all don't hate who he hates. And then we don't hate people just because they book wrestling different than we do. There's a lot of shit I see today. I watched AEW Dynamite last night. I watched, I can't remember if I saw I think I saw the whole show, maybe except for the last match. And that opening match with Penta and the Young Bucks, who Jimmy despises, was an entertaining fucking match. Can anybody remember who Penta's tag team partner is? The guy in the white mask? What's his
Phoenix.
name?
It's Ray Phoenix. It's his brother.
Oh my God. Those motherfuckers. I mean, it's not my particular cup of tea for wrestling. I mean, it's kind of almost hard to call that wrestling, but it was some entertaining shit. I mean, there's room for that match on every show. You can have him, and it was one of the more entertaining matches I've seen. Not my particular cup of tea, not what I consider a classic Jerry Lawler, Terry Funk, or Jerry Lawler, Bill Dundee match, or Ric Flair versus Roddy Piper. It wasn't one of those, but it was what it was designed to be. An acrobatic fucking chaos.
Yeah, it's
that even I was entertained by. I'm sure Jimmy shit all over it just because the Young Bucks were in it. And I was watching this show once. I had weight loss surgery a couple of years ago. And at one point I weighed 589 pounds. Now with all transparency, I weigh 312. Still, like I'd like to get a little bit lower. But I saw the Young Bucks get introduced in a match here a few weeks ago at a combined weight of 387 pounds. I'm going, what the fuck? You mean to tell me I outweighed both these motherfuckers by 200 pounds? What the fuck? And who the hell's going to be scared of two guys that don't weigh 380 combined? Who the fuck, So I get his thing, and I have some fans saying, well, Kenny, wrestling is a work. Well, I'll be goddamn. Thank you for enlightening me on that. And you take it too seriously. Why don't you ever want the little guys to win? I said, because there's a fight out on my fucking street, and I got the big man up here, Piers Austin, and then I got